Hello, welcome pen friends. Welcome to the progress report for March 2025. This is the video each month where I show and tell you how things have been going with my fountain pens and the inks that I've chosen. Now, it's going to be a packed episode because I actually have 11 inked up right here on my writing desk that I'm using for letter writing. So 11, that's a lot. But I have all the ink tiles and the pens, and we'll start with the report card because I can never remember to come back to it. So it is an impressive report card. But I think what I'll do, I couldn't even fit them all on here, so I've got another page where I have 2 more. And I will, let's see, I'll stick this in here to kind of try to remind myself to do that. Because okay, so I think what we'll do, I'll show you each pen and ink quickly, you know, because you may not have seen the Chris's Inked Pens episode. So the first one is the Pelikan M800 with a fine nib. And this has Tom's Studio Mariana's. It's a beautiful blue-black, and I've been really enjoying it. So it got an A+. It is super smooth in that gold nib, and it's got wonderful flow. And, you know, it's a real competitor in a way for Diamine Oxford Blue, even though, you know, I actually have a bottle of that I'm finishing, and then a 30 ml bottle. So I'm feeling like I wouldn't purchase right now, but I would always remember this one because this is a really beautiful blue-black. I've actually got 6 of the Tom's Studios samples for this month that I'm trying out. So, okay, next up is the TWSBI Eco Rose Gold and White, and I have in it the Tom's Studio Sunny Teal. And this has just been a really happy color to write with. And just like the other, whoops, I got a blue thumb. Just like the other ink, it is very flowy. That's been a theme. I have felt that these inks were really nice. Like, they're up there in my mind with Pilot inks with the flow, and I just am amazed. And either that or I'm picking the absolute right nibs, you know, pens and nibs to put them in. So another A+. Very happy color. I really like this. And then next up was the Lamy All-Star Graphite with a broad nib. And I put Tom's Studio Dove Gray. Now this one, I started with a fine nib, and I didn't like it as much. I didn't like how it looked. And so then I went to the medium nib, and then the broad nib. Now I was perfectly happy with it when I got it into the broad nib. So this is going to be more of a study to find out, is this ink just a little bit drier, or were my nibs that I was trying, you know, to begin with, drier? And I'm not sure. I can't tell you yet because this is so new to me. It's just this round with this ink. So I gave it an A. I like it a lot, and I'm thinking that I might even like it better in a different nib. So I've been kind of thinking about that. I thought maybe a number 6 broad nib, you know, something that really puts down the ink. I'm not sure. But it's a beautiful gray, and it does kind of fall in what I like for a medium, kind of a medium to dark gray. It's beautiful. Okay, next up is the little Pilot Kakuno. Whoops, I've almost written this dry. I don't think I filled it completely. I should have gone back, and I probably will, go back with a ink syringe and fill it up the rest of the way. I never get a full fill with these converters. But this has the CM nib, the cursive medium nib on it, and I just love it. I put Diamine Deep Magenta, and it's an A+. It's that nice narrow stub, kind of, almost like a calligraphy nib, and I really like it. It's been really great for letter writing, and this is a nice bright color. I'm using this because a friend of mine, I filled up her Platinum Preppy with this, and it had a lot of longevity. It did not dry out. It was just great. So I thought that would be a great one for me to try too. Okay, so then next up is the TWSBI Eco Rose Gold and Black with a medium nib. And here we have Tom's Studio Damson. I have really enjoyed this. Admittedly, it looks kind of dark when you you see it in print, and you know, you're getting that lovely plum kind of purple color coming out of the ink tile. But yeah, this is just a lovely writing experience. And so I would like to even use it more where I'm using my water brush. So that's not something I do as much when I write letters. But when I transfer this pen over to the other case, which we'll look at in the library again, I'm looking forward to this because in my process notebook, I'm always using my water brush. And, you know, making boxes around things or highlighting things that I want to remember. So that's going to be fun because it just looks, it activates so well. Okay, nice and dark, saturated. And, of course, that's always the thing. When it's dark like that, you may not see it as purple as well on some papers. You know, that's all. Okay, but I still gave it an A+ because it's just the smoothness and the writing experience of that. Okay, next up is another Lamy All-Star with Tom Studio Clementine, and I really love this color. I don't necessarily love it though for writing letters, so it hasn't been, you know, one that I pick up first. Or in some cases, it doesn't make it into the letters. But I gave it a B+ because it's really pretty. This is a broad nib. I think I said that. But if not, it is a broad nib. It kind of starts out really great. But then as you go down the page, and I think we'll be able to see that on the full page. We'll get there in a little bit. Although it was really good on the graphite. Graphilo paper, so I'll have to be refreshed on how it did on that. But yeah, I love it. It's just that it's the color I love, and coming out of a nib for letter writing, it hasn't been as, it's not my top choice. Okay, so then next is the Genhao X750 with the gold trim, which I just think is so nice. I like this one. And it's got Kobe Nakamacha Fortune Red. Okay, I took a stab at that, but we'll call it Fortune Red because I can't pronounce it. It's got a lot of sheen, and it's just gorgeous. And oh, I'm really glad that I switched and put the broad nib on this one. I can't pull the nib unit out of the one that has the silver, but I haven't even, if I didn't remind myself, I'd probably forget it was like that. But it's been really good. It's fantastic flow, and we'll look at the longer writing sample here in a minute. Yeah, I like this pen. It's the only one I have in the X750 that has the gold trim, and it's just beautiful. Okay, so next up is the Conklin Duragraph, which hardly sees the light of day, but I had decided that before I would pass it on, I wanted to make sure, because I love the pen body, you know, and just because I didn't like the original nib, that should not stop me because I've got all these number 6 nibs. So I am using a Goulet 1.1 in it, and it has really done well with this Pilot Roshizuku Murasaki Shikabu. Just lovely, lovely. There hasn't been any like funny business. I don't know what you call it, railroading or what. There's not been any funny business at all. It flows along really well. And of course, my writing is not the greatest in a stub nib because I just don't stick to it long enough to practice. You know, one of these days I'm going to. I keep saying that. Did I skip over well, okay, that other pen, that red pen, the Genhao X750 got an A+. I don't think I mentioned that. I get excited and everything just goes out the window. And speaking of windows, I had to almost shut the window. There was so much breeze, it was flying the paper, the notebook shut. But as soon as I finish, I'm going to open it because I got a cat that was very upset with me. She came and she could only smell the air just with her nose, and she couldn't, like, anyway, she's going to have the window open in just a minute. Okay, so next up is the little, I got carried away this month, surprise, surprise, is the little Genhao 993 Shark pen with an extra fine hooded nib. I think these come in the number 5 regular too, but I prefer the hooded ones because the nibs are so smooth. And I put in it Pilot Pilot Iroshizuku Asagayo, and I love it. It's great. Now, it is very fine, so when I first pick it up, it's a little bit of a shock. Like, I don't want to be going so large with my writing because it's such a fine, you know, it's an extra fine, which might be a fine in some nibs, but super smooth and fun. I gave it an A+. A rare favorite in an extra fine nib. Yeah, that's true. And I do have a few others. I have been remembering my study of the extra fine nibs and some of the really pretty ones that I have, like the Karas Custom, and there are a couple that I want to get out for summer that I was remembering. But the shark pen is fun, and who doesn't need fun right now? Any way you can find it. Okay, so we got to flip over here to, let's see, we'll cover that so we don't get ahead of ourselves. Okay, so then the next pen is the Genhao 82 with a kind of a sparkly finish. I don't know if you can see that from where you are, but it's got like glitter and everything. And I've got the medium Nemesine nib, the number 5 Nemesine nib, and it's nice and smooth. So that's been really fun. The ink is Tom Studio Cases, and I gave it an A. Now, why didn't I give it an A+? I'm not sure. I think I was comparing the experience in here compared to the TWSBIs maybe. And you know, when it comes right down to it, the TWSBIs, you know, they edge ahead probably just in that elegant and, I don't know, the pen body kind of dazzles me, just to be honest. I really like that. And this one does too, but in a different way. This is one I'd put right in my bag, in my tote bag, and take with me. I wouldn't worry about it. You know, it's an inexpensive pen, but it's a wonderful writer. I mean, outfitted with that nib especially. Okay, and then I think I may have an extra. Oh, yes. Okay, I started out wanting to put emerald in here. I wonder what happened, or was it, maybe this just fell into the pile. That was last month. All right, we got to file some tiles before we lose them. Okay, so last but not least, pen number 11 is the one that I just couldn't stand to have not inked. It's my little Moonman Mini Purple Swirl with a broad Opus 88 nib that I put on it, and I just, I can't be with this not, you know, inked up. And you know, this is more of a magenta. There was a Tom Studio traditional purple, the one that Iris, and I thought about putting that in here, but I often have purple going, you know, regular purple in this, and I thought, why not brighten it up a little? So we've already talked about this ink. It's the Raspberry Sorbet. But I just wanted to include it because this is what I did. I did note though that the ink in my handwriting looked brighter in the Lamy broad nib and the Safari. Let's see which one that was. That was the light rose pen with a broad nib. Maybe it has a fantastic, you know, better than average broad nib on it. I don't know. And there's nothing wrong with this, but I did notice there was a difference. So, okay, so that is the grades. So now let's try to do the Tom Studio inks first, and then we'll go back. Yeah, I want to set it up so I don't lose track. Okay, so we'll start with those first. So in other words, it's going to be out of order. This is my landing pages, which I need to do a little more housekeeping on this because I wanted to keep up with the ones I had put into the notebook. Okay, so now we've done Sunny Teal, Clementine, Damson, Mariana's. I think that's it. Let's see. And then, okay, over here. Oh, and now we've done Cases. Okay, so that'll help me when I'm looking at what I'm going to do for April. Okay, let's see. So to start right in here, we are going to start with, we don't want to repeat, so we got to go to where we actually are. Good thing I put that mark in it. The way I'm going this week, I might repeat last month's. Okay, so the first one is that beautiful Tom Studio Marianas. It's a gorgeous blue-black. I absolutely love it. Flows like crazy. Here's the chromatography. And of course, this Pelikan fine nib is, in some other pens, it compares with a broad nib, but it mostly reminds me of just a juicy medium nib. And I love how it picks up with the water brush, so there's plenty of saturation in that to allow that. And it's just gorgeous. Really, really nice. Even the splats. Now let's see if I can show you what happens with those. There's a lot of sheen that shows up. Now I don't necessarily see it in all my writing, but it does provide a lot of kind of like shading, but the sheen is responsible for part of that. So if you really are able to look at it closely, you'll see there is sheen on the writing too. Okay, then the next one was the Tom Studio Sunny Teal in that little TWSBI Eco white and rose gold. And although this is not super, super dark coming out of the nib, I like it. I really like it. It's a happy, happy color. It could be that I might like, let's see, marine. There's something with marine in the name. I can't think of it right now. I need to go back through my ink journals, and I could go through my tiles too to see which one it is that I'm trying to think of that reminds me of this, that's probably a little more saturated, a little darker, but this is lovely. This is really nice. And we have to keep in mind this was just a medium TWSBI nib. It probably would have made me even happier in a broad nib, but I'm enjoying those pens. And I'm enjoying how my medium nib pens write in that made in the Italian paper in the Peniter notebook. So that was a ulterior motive for using quite a few medium nibs this time, because I had discovered that right away. So, okay, so then next was the Lamy All-Star Graphite with Tom Studio Dove Gray. And this held up really well. It's really, really nice on this. Well, this is Graphilo paper. It's just awesome. It's my favorite, and I now have a super good supply thanks to a generous pen friend. Thank you so much for that, because I plan to do ink journaling in those notebooks, from here to forever, I guess, because I really love it. And I have more 68 GSM Tomoe River paper also to work in. I kind of like to have a larger notebook, for everything, for kind of the base, and then to put collections like Diamine ink vents, or like this one where I'm doing all the Tom Studios, into one booklet. It keeps it preserves it, and helps me find the things a lot easier. So I was very happy with this. I love gray, so right away I saw that it was right in my zone for gray inks. Okay, then the next one is that Tom Studio Damson that we were just talking about. It's gorgeous. And you see what I mean about how much brighter and happier of a color you get when you have splats, and you could see the dark and light, and also when you use a water brush. I had a little interference coming from, bleed back from the Clementine, which is a little bit rare on this paper. I don't think I even had that. Well, yeah, just a little seepage from that really dark Damson, but anyway, you could see where that came through, but it doesn't really bother me. It's not super noticeable. But again, a medium nib with this nice dark purple, and it looks really pretty in here. I like it. Okay, no heat, no cool. Oh yeah, my favorite days are where I don't have to run any air conditioner or heating. And it's not just because of the savings. The savings is big, but just the fresh air. Like, it's so rare here in South Texas that it's not hot, so hot that you feel like you have to close it, button everything up. So that's been wonderful and distracting. But okay, so next was the Tom Studio Clementine. Now, this did really well on this paper, so I'm noticing that even down here, I'm still seeing shading, and it's good. I'm trying to think. I don't think I felt the same way on Tomoe River 52 GSM. So I've got more tests to do as far as which of my writing papers, other than the Graphilo, that I'll like it on. Again, though, it's not, even though it's such a happy color, it's just not one I pick up right away. I do it if I'm trying to, if I'm writing a longer letter and I'm run out of different colors, I'll go ahead and use it. But let's see how I'm doing with that fill. I'm not really sure. Well, okay, so wow, I've almost used it all? Okay, well, that's fair then. I guess I have written, well, I've still got 10 letters to write. I've got 10 letters in my reply pile, which I've been steadily writing, but these pretty days kind of distract me a little bit from my writing desk. But okay, so yeah, it's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, and then I think this is the last, yeah, this is the number 6 of this month's Tom Studio. This is the cases that I put in the little Jinhao 82, and this is wonderful. This is steady, and you know, sometimes I write so fast that sometimes by the time I get to the bottom, or to, you know, even the bottom of 2 paragraphs, a color will fade, but this has been very nice. And the splats were pretty impressive too. I'm not sure what you would call this color, because it's sort of a maroonish, but then I don't know. I'm not very good at classifying colors. I can't wait till I have to figure out where to put that tile. That's gonna, let's see. Probably it'll go in red or maroon, because I have a cluster of colors that kind of look like that. So I'm not really sure exactly where in my file that'll go, but okay. So now we'll hop back into the Bond Travel Gear. This is 68 GSM Tomoe River paper, and I think, yeah, the first one is the Pilot Kakuno with a cursive medium nib, and this is so pretty. It's a beautiful ink, but I also like the really subtle, you know, really thin stub nib. It kind of disguises maybe some of my awkwardness with a with a stub nib, because over here I see more, I'm a little bit more conscientious about my difficult handwriting, I guess. I really think my handwriting is best in a broad nib, but I'd like to get practice and continue trying with other nibs too. Yeah, just beautiful. And then here's the Conklin Durograph with a 1.1 Goulet nib. And again, well, this is an old favorite. The Pilot Murasaki Shikabu is one of my favorite inks. When I first started with this, I didn't like it. I thought the ink was too light. And that's changed completely now in my mind. Of course, I was only using medium nibs at the time when I first tried it. And that's changed, because I'm mostly broad and delving into stub nibs. So it's very interesting, though, because I'm glad I kept up with it. I'm glad I didn't just say, oh no, I don't like this, because it is such a drastic difference from nib to nib with some of these inks. So, okay, next. Oh yes, this is the Jinhao X750 in the red and gold finish with the Kobe ink. And Kobe inks are just so luxurious anyway, I think. And it's just stunning. It's gorgeous. Look at that chromatography and how the water brush picked it up. Oh, so nice. Yeah, I definitely like that. And I'm going to go back through and see what, I know I have some others that look very similar to this, but it's been a busy week, or I would have done some more comparing and paneling to compare some of these, but it has truly been super busy. Okay, next up, oh, I was proud of my little trace drawing here of my shark pen, and then I decided I was kind of tired of doing the sloppy writing here, and I got out my stencils, P-I-L-O-T. That doesn't look like it's spelled right, but I guess it is. The Asagayo. These are the stencils right here. I get frustrated with these because they don't complete the, how do I, okay, so like, hold on, let me show you. Okay, so like the E, for instance, you see how it just looks silly. I wish they would have done it right, but I guess they couldn't, because then how could they, right? That's why, because you're not going to have that sitting there. So anyway, when I do the stenciling, I've been trying to fix it myself so that it didn't look oddball. But come to think of it, but then even with the O, I mean, yeah, well, same thing. That wouldn't be there, would it? Nothing like making a discovery on air. But I do like these. I just like the uppercase ones better because there's fewer of those silliness. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm a genius. Okay. I see why they can't do that now. And maybe you're supposed to just work it out yourself. I was always frustrated about it. That is so funny. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so very, very fun pen to play with. And I will be getting my other two out, too. I've got, I think it's a pink and an orange. I had a ton of these, and I gave out several. And, you know, I must have kept colors I thought I was going to use, so that's cool. Okay, so then I distinctly remember I used to have a gray one, though. Okay, so next up was, okay, that's the remnant of the little grading. And then the last pen is the Moon Man Mini in the purple swirl and the beautiful Tom Studio Raspberry Sorbet. So it's not super impressive with the water brush, but it's so pretty in the nib anyway, in that broad. Let's see, what did we say? This was an Opus 88. Usually I have Goulet broad nibs in these, but this one I have an Opus 88. So really, really fun. Okay, I guess that's the report card as far as how it's been going. Now let's go to the library and just chat for a few minutes. Here we are in the library, which is soon to be in a different room. It's we are going to be moving it to our back room, which is better lit. But of course, every time I move anything like this, where lighting is important and all of that, I'm sure I can still keep my bookshelf behind me, which I like a lot. But that's been an ongoing. It's going to be very slow because there's a lot of things to move, and then I need to do the floor in here. So that's an interesting thing. You can't see, but on the other side of this room, it's completely torn up because I have begun, you know, moving my books and getting ready for that. Like Manuel said, it needs to be done in phases, kind of slowly, because there's some heavy furniture involved. So that's one thing we've been working on. And then I've been waiting still for my Benu Pixie. I'm going nuts waiting, and I'm pretty sure that it'll be sent to me pretty soon. But I ordered from Pen Boutique. It's my first order from them, and I really can't wait to see it. So you know, it's exciting. I haven't had a new pen in a while, so that's pretty exciting. I pre-ordered from there, and I'm just you know, of course, what I'm seeing right now are people like SBRE Brown and people that get the pens from the companies. So I've just been, where's mine? You know, like a little kid. So, and then the other thing, well, oh yeah, I wanted to mention, I didn't write it down, but one thing that's super been working out so good for me is using this Levenger case for all of my journaling. So it's pens that I've still not quite finished, and I've been finishing them right down to the last drop by having this, you know, being organized enough and not having everything just at my pen desk. Because back in that back room, I'm there with the cats, and I'm doing a lot of journaling and writing back there. And so it's so handy to just have it all in one case. I mean, I used to use a pen roll kind of thing, like a 8-pen koozie from Rickshaw, and I love it. But I like this better because I can see better immediately what I've got. So I'm just looking at the pens and having it flat out in front of me. And it's also, it's temporarily keeping me behaving and not ordering a Fillmore case, because I really want to get a Rickshaw Fillmore. It's kind of like the Rickshaw Sinclair R, but instead of just zipping at the top and then your pen's going in, that Fillmore case opens up like this. So, you know, I've been very tempted, but even with ad money, I'm not, I don't know. I guess I don't have a real high confidence right now in hobby spending generally, but you know, that could change. We'll see. But I have been feeling like, well, I have enough of everything and I need to use what I have. And sure enough, you know, it just isn't a good plan to hoard the good stuff. So I got this case out and I said to myself, this is going to be it. And it's worked beautifully. You know, being able to see the caps because I'm all color coded with my TWSBIs, and then let's see. Oh, there was one more pen that I filled last night, but there wasn't enough time for me to get it into the ink journal. But I did refill my little online Fluffy Cats pen with the medium nib with Sailor 50 States, Texas. I couldn't help myself. So I've got that going too. I didn't have a brown ink at all going, so I really wanted that. So anyway, that's been working out really well. And I highly recommend that. If you do lots of writing at your desk, but you also go and write somewhere else, yeah, use your good cases and just fill them up and with what you want to finish your fill. And it just sort of, yeah, it puts me there with everything I need. And I have split enough attention. But once I'm there with my notebooks and my pens right in front of me, it just has been working out really, really good. So I did spend $8, but I didn't spend $8 on the hobby. I spent it on yarn. And because I had a thinner weight yarn, I had just the really, really thin, and I'm not ready to get into that pattern yet, but I'm ready to make more of my pouches. Some people who are new probably missed all that, but I really love to crochet, and I make these little drawstring pouches that I can put my crystals in or coins or whatever, and I enjoy it, but it's much more like therapy for me, the crocheting is, and I've got 3 of them here. Now this is a thinner yarn than this one, and then there's even a thicker one that I use that makes it come out just a little bit bigger with the same pattern. And so I couldn't help myself. I got four yarns. 3 of them have the variegated, and then the orange. I didn't think I'd ever run into another orange one. I'd been to the store several times and they didn't have orange, so I was excited about that. But I think that will be well worth it in its therapeutic value. And you know, I have a copay on counseling, so it is way more than $8, so I'm excited to be back into the crocheting. And then at times when I'm not wanting to focus on pattern and doing things exactly the way I'm supposed to, then I've been doing the knit spooling, making a whole bunch of cords, which we are always looking for something to tie something with. And even these curtains in this front room here, I'm thinking they're light blue, so I'll need to look at what colors I have. But that's just been something I've really been enjoying again. I used to be always with my yarn all the time. So let's see, are we all completely off topic now? Yes, but we're keeping it happy, you know, because everything that's of more of a serious nature or whatever I've moved over to Substack for that. So I'm really pleased with it. Even though I just feel like I'm just getting my voice, even, you know, my writing self going. And so I am over there, and it's that way I keep politics and etc., current events and stuff like that off of here. So the weather, I mentioned that when I was over there giving you the report card, but the weather has been fantastic. Now, it has been a little bit problematic because it's been super dry, low humidity, which I love. We don't get that very often, but it is we have to be very cautious what we're doing in terms of barbecuing or mowing or any kind of sparks or anything like that, because it is super dry. And not here in Corpus, but in a little town nearby in Sinton, Texas, they had a awful fire that took out several houses. It started like I think it was at an electric company where a wire went down, and it was a fire, electrical fire, but it was so dry that it took out like part of a neighborhood, and it was so sad. So everybody, we have red flag days, and we have the call comes from the city, and we just have to, like, I don't even start the lawnmower on days like that. And today we're having another one. It's super, super dry, which makes it real pleasant for the cats and for me, and it's free air conditioning, but it is hazardous for brush fires, and not just brush though. That's what really showed me, was that it doesn't matter where it is. it's not limited to the brush country or, you know, out in the country. So we have to be, everybody has to be super vigilant, I think. But it's been just weather heaven around here for the cats. They've been going into the door and the window and running from window to window and you name it. Because they're just so excited by the neighbor farm. That's what we call it, but it's not. What I mean is their chickens and their rooster and you know, they have the dogs too. And so it's been exciting for them. The other project I've been doing, which, you know, again, everything just, I bring it along as far as I can, has been expanding and fixing with my pantry area. I wish I had a walk-in room or pantry kind of room, but I kind of created that in a corner of my kitchen. So I have repurposed a shelf and have another shelf on the way so that we could put it together and use it for books. Because, yeah, I displaced a bunch of books, but oh, it's a long story. But it's been, you know, it's been good because I feel that if I'm working toward a goal, even if it's slow and, you know, that's better, you know. And like I said, we're going to be moving the library to the back room. So, oh, I remember what I was going to do. I was going to try to talk about, you know, which pens were my favorite this month. Having 11 makes it a little harder. But definitely what comes to mind is that the TWSBI Eco with the medium nib, the rose gold and black, that I have that really dark, that damson ink in. Oh, it's just, that's one I reach for almost first to write letters. And also the Pelikan M800, but who wouldn't? Because it's just buttery smooth and it's just really, really great with that blue-black ink. Let me see. The shark pen is super fun. That puts a smile on my face. They're all great, but I can always tell by which ones I'm reaching for, you know, kind of in order as I write letters. And that may vary a little bit depending on who I'm writing to, because if I notice that someone writes mostly with dark inks, you know, maroon and brown and blue, black and stuff, I sometimes mirror that so that they can see what it is I'm writing with in those color families. Not that I'm afraid to use pink for somebody that may not be a pink ink writer. It's not that. It's just more, if I do happen to have colors that make me think of the person I'm writing to, then I'll grab those first. But I'm definitely grabbing that rose gold and black TWSBI Eco first, and the Pelikan. And of course the little purple one, I just feel like carrying that around. My right pocket though is full, because with this training, this new system of having the cats in 24/7, and it's been, gosh, it's going on 2 months now. It's been definitely well over a month. I have to carry my little laser pointer everywhere for Toby, because he can get really carried away sometimes. And I don't mean in any way vicious. Toby is our youngest cat, our latest rescue. He likes to run and run and run, and the others get all stirred up and everything, but he loves to play with this. So it reminds me, now this is new. I had one where you press the side of it to make the little red laser point, but this one, you just, you put it down like this, and let's see, put the point behind me. Anyway, you know, it also has a flashlight, so it's really cool at night. But what I love about this one, and I'm not sponsored or a salesman or anything, you just plug it into your USB, so there's no more fiddling and fussing over having to buy batteries. This is what I got from Chewy.com, and I like it. I like it a lot, but it takes up, I'm not going to put that little pen in this pocket, so I'll have to go for the left pocket, I guess. Anyway, you know, that's not a problem. That's a fun thing. So I'll probably start carrying the little purple pen around in my pocket. But so it's interesting because I had, and I still have, a lot of things I want to write about and sort of discuss or talk about. But I didn't want to do it here because this is for fountain pens, cats, books, you know, stress relief, fun things, kind of more than anything. So I want to keep it to that. and yarn, you know, crocheting. Who doesn't like something that helps you, like almost like a meditation. To me, it is a meditation to work with crocheting. And I wish I had learned more with the knitting. They gave up on me basically with the knitting, because I could just do like a scarf. I could just keep doing scarf for a lifetime, I guess. But that's no fun. I would like to make mittens, socks, you know, well, mittens. Maybe I don't need mittens in South Texas, but I would like to make socks. And I would love to make a sweater, but it is so intimidating. It is so beyond my, I don't know how my grandmother did it. I still remember her being pretty frustrated with me with the crocheting, but my mother-in-law, just like she was able to teach me how to make the Spanish rice exactly to her specifications, which just was excellent because she made it so well. She had the patience. She sat with me and, you know, right beside me so she could see why it wasn't working for me. Anyway, she helped me so much. And then later I realized that with patterns I could slowly figure it out if I could find a video where they were doing that stitch. So maybe there's hope for me with knitting, but I get so you know, jealous when I see people making useful things, you know. And I think my pouches, they're useful to me, but wouldn't that be cool to be able to make, you know, socks that I could actually wear in the winter and stuff. So, and hats and things like that. My sister-in-law makes really pretty hats. So, okay, I think we went from 11 fountain pens and inks to crocheting, but that's good. As long as we're finding a way to smile and carry on, I think that's good these days. So I want to hear from you in the comments about anything you want to talk about, what you're writing with, what inks you're trying out. Are you waiting for any kind of order? It's going to be a little rare this year, I think, for me to be waiting for an order. But I just keep crossing my fingers that it'll hurry up and get here so I can play with it, that Benu Pixie. And also, if you have other hobbies that keep you grounded and you know, right in the head or whatever. Oh my God, that came out funny. But, you know, we'll meet in the comments as we usually do. And thank you very much for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all of the multiple contributions and kindnesses and letters over all these years too. So we're heading toward 8 years here on YouTube. So thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.